Hi, I'm Nitin. I'm a Gandhi peace walker. I've been walking for the last 7 years in 51 countries. And here I am in USA walking in 2025 from San Francisco to Washington, D.C. And you're listening to Trust Me, I Know What I'm Doing.
My name is Abhay Dandekar, and I share conversations with talented and interesting individuals linked to the global Indian and South Asian community. It's informal and informative, adding insights to our evolving cultural expressions, where each person can proudly say, "Trust me, I know what I'm doing." Hi, everyone. On this episode of Trust Me, I Know What I'm Doing, we share a conversation with peace activist Nitin Sonawane. Stay tuned. As always, thank you for listening and watching and making Trust Me, I Know What I'm Doing part of your day and part of your life. I know it takes time and effort, and so I appreciate everyone listening and subscribing and sharing this with all your friends and family. And if you're enjoying these, it would mean a great deal to me if you can take a moment and share a written review and a kind rating. You know, many of us go for a walk to clear our heads and get some fresh air, build more self-awareness, get exercise, be at one with nature and our surroundings. But few of us are walking singularly to clear all of our heads and bring us all together with a call for peace and a connection to our shared humanity. For activist Nitin Sonawane, this is exactly what has called him to embark on a cross-country walking journey from San Francisco to Washington, D.C., on what he's calling Walking with Peace USA 2025. Nitin was born and raised in a rural village in Maharashtra, India, and calls himself a Gandhian, a truth seeker, and a peace lover. His upbringing and spiritual nature has led him to continually seek beyond the familiar. Some of his formative years were spent with the Maharashtra Gandhi Smarak Nidhi, cultivating an even greater commitment to nonviolence and peace through grassroots connections. And since 2016, Nitin has literally been walking the planet with a message of nonviolence, equality, and global harmony. He's walked over 30,000 kilometers. Yes, let that sink in. Already walking through Africa, Asia, Europe, and North America, and connected with thousands of people, community leaders, educators, children, and activists. No neighborhood is too forlorn or too unreachable, and his inspirational messages are captivating and offer a light of optimism and hope to a world that desperately needs it. With a humility and a surrender to nature, communities, and open hearts, Nitin's walk caught my attention because in a world where there's so much built upon what we collect and amass, his walking journey is a reminder of what we're capable of through giving and listening and understanding. We caught up to chat as he was at the beginning of his over 200-day journey eastward, and of course the first thing on my mind was to find out at that moment where exactly he was.
So I'm in California state, and Fresno is one of the city here, and
Okay.
staying with one of my hosts.
I'm based here near Berkeley, and so not so far from where you started at the Ferry Building in San
Yeah.
Francisco, but definitely been making your way surely and steadily down California. Do you have a specific route to this? Are there particular ways in which you've mapped out your journey that are specific to walking and important for the route that you take here?
So I was thinking to cover the whole United States of America,
Yeah.
and I was planning to walk as much state as possible. So for
Mm,
that, I did a little bit weird kind of mapping. So
yeah.
my journey is started from San Francisco, then I decided to go a little bit south.
Okay.
So, but I don't want to miss the Fresno. It was a little bit north. So I did a
Yeah.
detour and then came to Fresno, and then I'm going down south to Bakersfield, then San Diego, LA, San Diego, and then from San Diego I'll take like east side. So I'll go to Phoenix, Phoenix to Oklahoma, Oklahoma to Dallas. I want to cover the Dallas because a lot of friends in Dallas they wanted to invite me,
Yeah.
and then from Dallas I'm going to be like north. So I want to be in Chicago because Swami Vivekananda came there
Mm-hmm.
long
Yeah.
ago. So I want to visit the city. So then I
Yeah.
took all the way north, and from Chicago to Columbus, and Columbus to Washington D.C. So my
Okay.
destination was Washington D.C. So this is like a little bit zigzag road. So yeah, that's I planned. Yeah.
Well, and at least during this time of year, you've mapped this out in such a way that you'll probably avoid a lot of weather hardships
Yeah.
as well. And then, of course, there's a entire section quadrant of the country that you may be missing, but that might have to be for your next journey as well.
Yes.
Each day is a new experience, and it might be different from the previous day. But is there some kind of rhythm or consistency to this? What does a typical day of walking look like for you?
So morning, like it always depend because where I'm with like either with some host or in the nature. If I'm in the
Yeah,
nature or forest somewhere where I'm
yeah,
camping, I start my day a little bit early.
yeah,
But if I'm staying with my host, it's pretty difficult because their life, and then I have to adjust a little bit according to their life.
yeah.
So breakfast is like pretty normal in the morning,
Mm-hmm.
and I start around like 8 is like that is like topmost time at 8,
Yeah.
and just keep start walking until like 12, 1, 2. So 1, 2, or 3, when I feel like a little bit hungry, then I take out my small bag and I have some dry ration like either bread, peanut butter, some vegetables, and avocados. And this is like
Yeah.
my normal diet in a lunch. And sometime dinner also like the same. So even if I'm staying in the forest, like last couple of days, I was in the mountain areas,
Mm.
rural area, there was nothing. So morning, breakfast, lunch was the same: bread, peanut butter, and avocados,
Right.
and that's what I'm having for last like couple 4 days. So yeah,
Yeah.
that is like everyday's thing. And walking on the road, keep just walking, was here in United States. The both sides are fences, so you
Mm.
have to be on the road. There is no way you can't go inside. So
Yeah.
just keep walking on the main road, and
Okay.
yeah, it's pretty tough, but yeah, it's a fun.
And then when, do you mainly try and obviously walk mostly during daytime hours? And if it is someplace where you have to camp, it's a rest stop or someplace that is going to be relatively camp friendly. Has there been and I saw recently that you've been relying a lot on, Taco Bell and some KFCs to get at least some washroom visits in there. But for the most part, I mean, is this mostly a daytime activity? And has that been successful part for you that you can say, hey, yes, I'm making up the most miles as I can, especially during the daytime and especially when it's decent weather?
Yeah, sometime can be go wrong. Like 2 days ago, I got stuck because it was a day until like afternoon, and I
Mm,
couldn't start my walk because it was heavy rain. And then
yeah.
after afternoon, I feel like okay, now this is a good time, so I started walking,
Yeah.
and the rain didn't stop. I was keep walking and walking until 6. I reach a place where there's nothing, so I couldn't camp there. So I just keep walking until like 8:30.
Mm.
But like at
And I was just going to say, thankfully it's not a race, so it's not like you are trying to be in a competition and you have to have certain number of miles per day, or do you have your own goals in any way with this?
Yeah, so I give some commitment to the next city. Like in Fresno, I gave some commitment. So I had to be there on the time. So people are
Yeah,
waiting for me. They organize some program for me. So
sure.
on that way, I have to give some, some time or some distance to do.
Yeah.
And but that night, like I was walking, and some guy thought in one of the ranches, they said he's looked like a crazy guy. He called to 911. I
Yeah.
said, check on this guy. And this police officer came in the middle of like 7:38 in the
Mm.
dark. He stopped me, and he asked these four silly questions. And he said, okay, now you're legal to walk on the road, so you can continue your journey. I said, okay, thank you. And
Yeah.
I started my journey again from there.
What were the four silly questions?
That was like, yeah. So first thing was he asked like, which year right now you are in.
Mm.
So as I said, 2025. I was like a little bit like, what's he asking? Like, this is
Yeah.
a crazy question.
Mostly trying to understand if you truly were sane, or did you have any particular problems, at least with your mental health.
Yeah, that was, I think so, that his idea. And then the second one he asked, what is the president of United States of America? And I said Trump. And then third one he asked, how many quarters in $1? And then four last one was what is your first name? So I say, okay, like, this is like what?
Yeah. Well, do you have to carry your passport, and do you have to carry some identification, and
Yeah.
are those things at least in 2025, in this current state that we live in, I imagine that's vital.
Yes, I'm carrying my passport, and the passport is like the key of my journey. And
Yeah.
without that, I don't think so I can go anywhere. Yeah, but
Yeah.
it's luckily it's full of visas around the world.
Mm.
So once they just take my like how it's like a little bit like bigger than normal passport. So there's like okay, yeah, you can go now. So it's very easy for me to just keep walking. Yeah.
Hopefully, you don't get too many of those silly questions along the way. Are there any particular barriers that you've encountered? I mean, you've walked everywhere. This is not your first journey, but have there been any particular things that you said, "Hey, in my experiences, I won't walk in these conditions, or I don't want to walk because there's either personal danger or there is weather-related things." Are there some things that you've encountered that you've said, yeah, lesson learned once. I don't want to make that mistake again.
Yeah, like extreme weather is one of the thing. Like extreme cold is not my cup of tea yet,
Mm.
because I survive until -5. If I go -5, I don't know how that will be.
Wow.
I born in Maharashtra, and like I never experienced like snow in my life, and I don't know how
Right.
it look. My first experience of the snow was in the United States of America, so
Yeah.
that was like a magical. But then to living in the snow and camping, I think so that is not cup of my tea yet, because I need
Yeah.
very different kind of gears that I don't have right now. So
Right.
that I want to avoid to go extreme cold. I can go extreme hot, and that I did in Oman and UAE. Was like in Afghanistan as well, like
Mm.
45, 50 degree. I'm like, okay, just keep walking. I'm born in like a May, so I can
Yeah.
walk in the hot. It's like, yeah,
Yeah.
not in a cold.
That's true, right? I mean,
Yeah.
if you're from Maharashtra and you've survived some of the Unhara temperatures, I think you can, that's probably a little bit more of your cup of tea as opposed to the cold part. Growing up Marathi, growing up in Maharashtra, I read that you come from a very spiritually diverse household, embracing lots of different mechanisms of spirituality. How did you grow up in a way that inspired a Gandhian lifestyle for yourself, or do you feel that you grew up in a Gandhian environment?
So yeah, so my grown up is very interesting, as my family is Hindu, and but when my mother got sick and she got prayer from some father, a Christian father, she got a faith and had the belief in Jesus. So he was praying, and she was reading Bible. Because she couldn't read, so I was reading for her.
Mm.
Then my grandmother used to practice Sikhism. My father used to have a fast, like every year he used to do Ramadan fast, Islamic
Yeah.
fast, and he used to go to mosque at that time. So then we used to celebrate biggest Eid celebration at our home. Then
Sure.
we have Diwali, then like all different kind of festivals in my home. So it was like whole year was a lot of fun for me.
Yeah.
But once I went to high school, my religious ideas are broke down, and science was giving me much better answer to me that time.
Mm.
And that's where the quest to know unknown, like as science take us to ultimate particles and kind of split of particles most of the time at the end.
Yeah.
And then what is ultimate reality to our life? So that was the trigger to my journey.
Mm.
I decided to leave my home, and that inspired by Gautama Buddha, because he left his home at the age of 29. And India is a land of seekers. So a lot
Okay.
of these people, they left their families, everything, and just to dissolve themselves, to find themselves, to seek their ultimate truth. And one day I just took my backpack at the age of 17, I left. But yeah, unfortunately, like yeah, I was like pretty young, and I couldn't make it on the next day, and then I came back home.
Yeah.
And after working in engineering, completed my engineering, and then working 6 months, I realized I'm not a robot. I just stopped everything what I was doing, and I got to connect with the Gandhian organization called Maharashtra Gandhi Smarak Nidhi in Pune,
Yeah.
and that's where I got connected to the Gandhian ideology, because Gandhiji was also like he was outside. You see, he was a freedom fighter. He's fighting for rights, fighting against the Britishers, fighting for injustice within a society, and at the same time he was a seeker. He was a truth seeker, and he did a
Mm.
different experiment to reach that truth. So I feel close to Gandhiji, and
Yeah.
to practice that truth, we have to apply nonviolence in our life. So then, truth and the practice of nonviolence help to achieve your goals, or to make your truth in your reality, to practice the truth in a reality with idea of non-violence, not to harm others. So that
Mm.
was the whole journey I gone through with Gandhiji and my personal life.
You're listening to Trust Me, I Know What I'm Doing. After a quick break, we'll come back to our conversation with peace activist Nitin Sonawane. Stay tuned. Conversation. It's the antidote to apathy and the catalyst for relationships. I'm Abhay Dandekar, and I share conversations with global Indians and South Asians so everyone can say, trust me, I know what I'm doing. New episodes weekly, wherever you listen to your podcasts.
Hi, I'm Vivek Murthy. I'm the 21st Surgeon General of the United States, and you're listening to Trust Me, I Know What I'm Doing.
Hi guys, I'm Ananya Pandey.
Hi, this is Madhuri Dixit.
Hi, this is Farhan Akhtar.
Hi, I'm Kani Kusrudi, and you are listening to Trust Me, I Know What I'm Doing.
Welcome back to Trust Me, I Know What I'm Doing. Let's rejoin our conversation now with peace activist Nitin Sonawane. You know, when you think about that idea of seeking truth, there are so many ways to look inward and many, many styles that people have. But when it comes to external activism, you chose Gandhi to be the model for this. And in a way, how have you been able to, through that Gandhian model, how have you been able to actually find more inner truth through this external activism at the same time?
So, like, there's a two part of my journey. One is inward journey and one is outward journey. So,
Yeah.
outward journey is like to just keep walking on the road, meet people, go to school, go to college. If like get opportunity in some kind of activism, like in Japan, Okinawa Island, where I was
Right.
protesting against the U.S. airbase, and then either in South Korea or any part of the world. So this is mostly the outward activities that happen all the time. But my inner journey is like when I was walking and on the road. So it's mostly go deep in your mind. It's one of the best technique in the world. Walking is one of the best meditation in the world. You
Yeah.
go very deep in your mind that you cannot imagine that something that's there and you cannot see it. And once you get that experience, you're like, wow,
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
can be a possibility. Wow. And you're amazed like how beautiful the life is because you're walking, you observe the things. It's I don't think so. It's not, also to looking outside. It also can show something inside as well. So while
Yeah.
walking, I observe things that life on this planet or the consciousness and everything is going so slow, and your walk is also very slow. And this slowness bring your mind so high level. Your consciousness go high, so high
Yeah.
that you see life very clearly. Like we see everything is alive here, even the stones and the rain and even the water or even the sand. Everything
Yeah.
is alive. So that's like blow your mind all the time
I
while walking.
imagine, yeah. And it's interesting. You mentioned that as you walk, when you think about sort of the idea of inner journey and external journey, that's actually a good reminder that, like, on the external side, of course, there's an activism here, and again, the Gandhian philosophy is the one you've chosen. On the inner side, walking and really observing and soaking many things in brings a incredible amount of spiritual awakening, of social awakening, of consciousness awakening, and you observe so many things. And yet, you know, the world around us, particularly with people, for millennia has been a negotiation between peace and conflict, and constant peace and conflict, all in you know, sort of straddling both of those things in every single environment. And so I'm curious, when people observe you, how does walking build a bridge between those two things for yourself, not just for others who are watching you and getting inspired, but even for yourself? There's always a navigation between peaceful activities and harmony, and conflict that is some disharmony. So how have you been able to bridge those gaps, particularly for those who are observing you?
You know, while walking, you become like very high state of mind, And I think so your surrounding becomes so powerful. I don't know how to explain those, energies when you walk.
Yeah.
It's totally, it's a different mode. You are actually, I live in a different world. And
Sure.
I don't know what happened exactly when I was what I do,
Mm.
but when people see, they feel very peaceful.
Yeah.
They're very comforting with me. Like they very come very near to me. They talk, they cool down, and they also get so motivated.
Mm.
And their energies, because I cannot see my energy,
Sure.
so I can see them like what happened right now, and that inspired me a lot. Like at the same
Mm.
time, so
Almost they match you, or they're
yeah,
trying
so
to match you.
they match you because once
Yeah.
it's affect on someone else, they also get with you, and then like you can see you from him. So
Sure.
that was so magical to see them all the time. Like one guy came with like a knife, and when I was with him, I talked a little bit, and then he took selfie. He said he wanted to take something, but he took selfie with me and he left. So
Wow.
that kind of
Where was this?
that was in South Africa.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
Yeah. So that kind of beautiful moments happened. Like one of the important story of my journey was in Ethiopia.
Yeah.
So I was walking, and the children start throwing stone at me at the end,
Mm.
because they are like chasing me and finding some money from me. Like they want to have some money from me. So I said I don't have
Yeah.
money, and they at the end they realize they will not get anything, and then they start pelting at me, and then I don't know how to react now.
Mm.
Like I can't be harsh, and I was like watching them, and I was like clueless, like what to do.
Right. What are you gonna do? Yeah.
Yeah, I was not afraid also, and
Yeah.
I was like pretty calm, very calm.
Yeah.
But I don't know how to react with this kind of, if I should go harsh or something.
Sure.
But then in the middle of somewhere, there is one old man came. I don't know how he came,
Mm.
and he stopped these childrens. So
Yeah.
like this kind of thing happened. Like it's happened with very higher state of mind, and it reflect on other people, and also at the same time it reflect back to you, and that also help you to keep walk on and on and on.
There's a leap that someone may have to take between the inspiration of seeing that peace and that calm and that very nonviolent meditation on perhaps how to react to a situation like that.
Mm.
So there's a leap that goes from the inspiration of that and the action that's required to stop the activity. What do you think people need to make that action happen better or quicker or sooner rather than respond with, hey, I'm pulling a knife, hey, I'm throwing stones? How do you bridge the gap maybe between the inspiration and the actual action itself?
So yeah, most of like our human nature is just a reaction most of the time, and
Yeah.
that is the where the violence come.
Mm,
Reactions are naturally built in violent way to protect
yeah.
ourselves, and this has been for like millions of years as a human being evolved. And but as we evolving, I think so we found some way to deal with those, and I think so to how to respond. And in like in American context, if you see Martin Luther King in his civil rights movement, he gave a special training to the people, to the
Yeah.
activists, to how to respond when something is going to happen with you, how to respond very peacefully.
Yeah.
So that has to be done like in country like South America, like America. As I think the spiritual content in that nonviolent action is very important.
Mm,
Once, and I think so for that you have to go deep in your mind to understand exactly who you are, and also observe your state of mind when something is happening with you. Like
yeah.
many times, our minds go so high, so alert, and then this quick non-violent, violent action evolve. But
Right.
once you are observing your emotions inside you, then you see which state you are, and your action and your response become so non-violent. And I think
Mm,
so that's where I think so we start from, to observe what state you are right now and how to respond right away to protect yourself, but you can respond with non-violently with higher
yeah.
state of mind.
Now, unfortunately, first off, that's beautiful. Unfortunately, people are living in a space in a world where impulsivity and reactionism is just rampant. So, is it a matter of slowing down, as you mentioned, and making your thoughts more quiet, and yet that's not necessarily where people find themselves on a day-to-day basis.
True, true. Yeah, maybe yeah, as you're saying, like taking a small pause and then
Yeah,
breathe for a minute, maybe, and then take a response. So this will be
right.
like more appropriate answer, but my answer will be like long term, and
Mm,
that is for it's not just always react all the time,
yeah,
because it's going to happen all the time in your life. You are surrounded by society, and then there is economical pressure, political pressure,
yeah,
so it's happening. We're watching television, you're watching the reels,
sure.
so it happen all the time, and it's not outside whatever happened, it's what inside that trigger, it's what trigger inside you, that
Yeah,
is the matter. And that's where I think, so I call it the peaceful
yeah.
mind, where you can respond and you can be a calm within yourself.
Those people who are aware of a Gandhian principle, or those people who are just self aware and they have the capacity to pause, I imagine that they have an understanding of some of this at a baseline. But for those who might be strangers to all of this, and they are, certainly encountering you and they see you walking or they hear of you walking, what's probably the most common question you get asked on a routine basis?
Yeah, mostly they ask like, why you walking, like,
Yeah, what are you doing?
yeah,
Yeah,
they can't digest this, like, because their life is, uh, it's like very simple. Their life is very simple: get married, get money, and build a house, and get old.
yeah.
And most of people can't think like we. And like, if I go many countries, the most obvious questions are very easy. Like, the first one is like, why you walking is the one. The second one is, are you married? So
Mm,
whole their life is around marriage.
yeah,
Third one, many countries ask, what is your religion?
yeah,
This is like very obvious question in many part of the world,
sure.
and mostly in developing world, this is very common. I observe. Yeah, so these three are like very very common questions I get all over the world.
Do they ask you, what do you do, or how do you survive? And
Oh yeah, like, what do you do for money? Yeah, that's a
yeah,
question. Yeah, how
yeah,
how you live, like, how you do you earn some money from this?
yeah,
So they cannot digest that, not to earning money and walking is like,
yeah.
it's kind of like madness or something. So yeah, this is like, yeah, this is madness for people. Most of the people,
And
they
yet
can't
these are,
digest.
and all these questions are identifiers, right? I mean, sometimes they want to just know out of curiosity, and other times they want to say, oh, you know what, I have something in common with this person, or not. And once when you answer those questions and you share with them what you're doing, is their reaction usually with curiosity to ask more, or is it more of a, wow, okay, I guess that's a surprise, and they may or may not build a connection with that.
Yeah, many times they feel so amazed, and they create so much, respect for me.
Mm,
They said, please have some cup of tea with me or coffee with
yeah,
me, and
yeah,
they sometimes invite to me their homes,
sure.
sometimes their offices, take picture with me. So this kind of reaction happen on the road most often this happen, and they said, take care of you. I know it's like, no, I can't do this,
Yeah,
and we are doing, like, I cannot imagine what you are doing, and I
right.
really respect you. Some people also, donate some money to me when they heard
Yeah,
something like that, because they ask like, have you eaten something yet?
right,
And they
right.
say, yeah, there's something there, or have something this, like,
Yeah.
day for yesterday, some Mexican guy said, have some coffee with me, some
Mm.
snacks. And so, yeah, many things happens on the road. Yeah.
You're listening to Trust Me, I Know What I'm Doing. Let's take a quick break and come back to our conversation with Nitin Sonawane. Stay tuned. Every story told is a lesson learned, and every lesson learned is a story waiting to be told. I'm Abhay Dandekar, and I share conversations with global Indians and South Asians so everyone can say, trust me, I know what I'm doing. New episodes weekly, wherever you listen to your podcasts.
Hi, I'm Krish Ashok, author of Masala Lab, The Science of Indian Cooking, and you're listening to Trust Me, I Know What I'm Doing.
Hello, everyone. My name is Tam France.
Hi, I'm Congresswoman Pramila Jayapal.
Hi, my name is Richa Morjani.
Hi, I'm Lily Singh, and you're listening to Trust Me, I Know What I'm Doing.
Hi there, I'm Abhay Dandekar, and you're listening to Trust Me, I Know What I'm Doing. Let's rejoin our conversation now with peace activist Nitin Sonawane. You've had a sort of front row seat to grassroots movements, and when you have talked to schools or groups and created some inspiration as well, that activism and change is pretty apparent. And again, you have a front row seat to that. The world, as I think I mentioned, is just a place that feels so hyper connected through the internet and through this sort of idea of we have so many digital connections, and yet people are equally feeling isolated, and they feel disconnected, and they feel polarized and tribal, and there's so many different divisions that come from the answers to all those questions that you just asked. How have you faced that kind of reality so far in your walk, in the sense that all these questions are obvious ones that people want to ask you because they're so curious, and yet sometimes the answers create even more divide than maybe what is expected? So how have you been able to in a way kind of navigate and weave that on your walk?
Uh, yeah, sometimes it's very difficult to navigate like most of the things.
Yeah.
But I think the most important thing on this journey, I listen to these people, like the way you in your podcast. This is, I think, so kind of healing. We have to
Yeah.
listen these people. Most of the time, I get stopped. I cool down myself and I listen to their story, what their life story, how they come, where they come from. So what is their political motive to do what action they are taking, and try to understand their point of view. And then I add my own smalls, my own stories. So then they also can see, oh, okay, that's some other way to look at it. So that
Building
always
connection.
happens. Yeah, that's a way to build a connection with them. And it's happened like when I was in Texas once, and I was on a bicycle, and he does really ask because he don't know how to do, like he having two daughters, and one of it was she was a lesbian, and he was hardcore Catholic guy, and he don't know what to do. And he does ask me like, what if Gandhiji was alive, and what he could answer me for this question, how I'm going to deal with this situation. I said Gandhiji is man of truth, and if there is a truth that some person feeling inside something and that truthful to him, he will definitely accept that truth. So that helped him a lot and healed him a lot. At the end, he gave me like a silver coin, which is he got from Jerusalem, and gave me a cross from the olive trees from the Jerusalem where the Jesus Christ was born. So I was like, wow, such a blessing that to carry something like that, and such a way while walking I can heal someone. So yeah, that was beautiful.
That's great. I mean, again, just the simple act of listening and the simple act of not reacting. Maybe that's the inspiration that people need to find their truth more than anything else. I have to ask a couple of almost mundane thoughts. When I was thinking about your journey and thinking about the ways in which I sometimes walk or I sometimes do things that are very repetitive, how do you combat fatigue? How do you combat boredom during your journey? Because this can also be a place where a journey can feel lonely sometimes too.
So yeah, fatigues are like, it's like very often happen. And the most important thing in this situation is just to take a rest, a good rest. And the best way is to stay in the forest for a couple of days, and then you regenerate, and that boosts a lot. Loneliness, I don't feel loneliness. I am with the whole world. If you can't live with yourself, you can't live with anyone. So you have to deal how to live with yourself alone. That's makes you more stronger. And while walking, I'm never alone. I'm with me. I go deep in the mind. I do a lot of operations. I observe my sensations, and I observe the nature reality around us. And that helped me to understand what is the true nature of myself. So once I know that, and when I reach there, there's nothing called loneliness. It's I think so. it helped me to connect with the whole universe, not just to the animals and plant and humans. It's whole universe, the connection with whole universe. And that the loneliness just disappear. They never come. I think loneliness never come. You always connected with this wonderful conscious being that we are part of.
And in that same stream of the mundane that we get beyond, right? Not feeling lonely because you have a strong relationship with yourself. And yet we have to be grateful for the things that either nature provides us or even people and communities provide us. But instead of taking them for granted, I have to ask you, what are your walking shoes of choice?
Oh, yeah. So mostly I use hiking shoes, and by the brand I like Columbus and Decathlon. That was like my best so far. I did like 3,000 miles in each that shoes.
Wow. Okay.
And other I'm not like very happy with those, but yeah, I still keep on and on and on. But Columbus is, I think, so my best choice. They are good hiking shoes and they last long. I really use them. Like 3,000 mile was like, I was so surprised. I never gone for 3,000 mile in one shoes. And it's not advisable at the same time, because it's not good for your knees after some time.
Yeah.
But luckily I was safe. My body and my leg was safe so far.
Good.
So yeah, hiking shoes the best.
Hiking shoes. Okay, great. And through on this journey, are there any particular locations? Are there any particular locations that you're really looking forward to seeing, or a particular spot that you're like, wow, I'm very much, because as much as the journey itself is so fulfilling, there is perhaps some great anticipation as well of, yes, I'd really like to go and visit this spot, or this is a group of people who I'm really excited to meet.
I want to visit a San Fe, and it's in New Mexico. And
yeah,
I don't know or not, but there is a lady called Peace Pilgrimage, and
No, I didn't.
She walked across the America like several times, and whole her life was to just keep walking. And she was stopping unless and until she gets a place to stay and eat, if someone give her food, and just have faith in humanity, just keep walking and walking. So they have some office there in San Fe, and I want to meet this community. Like I want to know about her more. How, because I don't think so. I'm not it there. Like what she does, what she did in like 70s and 60s.
Sure.
That is like something incredible. I want to listen and experience that. How is that possible? Like in my journey, in some part of the world, I did so similar about that, but I couldn't like do what she did already. So I'm pretty excited for her stories, to know more about her and go, if I can practice more about like similar way what she is doing. So I'm pretty excited for San Fe and her community there.
That's great. So much to look forward to, and again, so much to learn from someone like that. I'll try and get you out of here on this one, and that is, in a nutshell, not only for you, not only for communities and individuals that you're inspiring and you're meeting with, but in the end, when you get to Washington, D.C., what do you hope will be the epilogue of this? How do you hope people will look at your journey? How do you hope you will look at your journey? And what do you hope to think about as you reach Washington, D.C.?
So the journey, what I call, is like walking with peace. And in our society, I don't think that this peace is missing everywhere. This system we have, it's very strong, very powerful. The economical system and all the different kind of systems, they are overcoming us all the time, because we human are weak, and they manipulate us, they control us. So I want to just show the people that even this chaotic situation, we can have a peace, and that's what I'm walking. I'm with peace, and you can experience the peace and practice the peace, and it can help you to go and enjoy that beautiful state of mind, and at the same time to look the world, the way the situation is around the world. I want to focus the idea that people must aware that we are in very danger time, in human history where there's a big conflict in America, Russia, China, Iran, Israel. There's huge conflict in these countries.
Yeah.
And that is my walk is planned for to walk in these countries, to go to Russia, then China, Iran, Israel, and to create awareness about what's happening and what action we can take. So my action is to just motivate them to think what they can do. This is my part of what I'm doing right now. It's just keep walking and creating awareness about it. And I feel that it can touch the people. That's what my spiritual belief is, to touch the hearts of people and believe in humanity. That's where like we are like 7 to 8 billion population living together, to have faith in each other, having trust in each other. And that's what I want to meet President Trump when I reach White House on my last day on 18th of August this year. So once I meet him, I don't know what to talk. I hope my body and my life will make some change.
Well, as a continual inspiration to not only just bring peace externally, but also internally, I hope that this is going to inspire not just some people, but a lot of people on many continents. Nitin, thank you so much for joining us for a conversation, and we wish you all the best.
Thank you, Abaiji. Thank you so much for your kind interview, and very, very happy to be talking with you. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Nitin. And I've listed it in the show notes, but please check out more at slowmannitin.com. Okay, as begrudgingly as I can say it, congrats to any Eagles fans out there. There, I said it, okay? I'm a fan of feedback, so if you have thoughts or suggestions, send them on over to info@abhaydandekar.com. Till next time, I'm Abhay Dandekar.